here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, you know it's Wednesday, so that means it is Dolphin time. Every single week, Wednesdays, right around 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we bring you our Moyne College Dolphins in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College. And today we get to put the spotlight back on men's and women's swimming and diving. We've done it many times over the years, and we're here with head coach Adam Zaczkowski. And we, for the first time ever, are going to be welcoming from the women's team, Brooke, Sommo, and very excited for the opportunity to have Brooke and coach on the broadcast here in the first portion of today's show. And then we'll get into some Major League Baseball as the first day of the postseason started yesterday. And of course, as you know, on Wednesdays, the second half of the show will be its own video as our fantasy football advice every single week takes on its own show within a show. So you will see that in its own video and audio in hour number 2, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub for Fantasy Football Week 5. So, with that being said, it is truly my honor and my privilege to welcome Picture in Picture, and then Brooke will also be in picture with us as well for this Dolphin dive. So, Coach, Brooke, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Doing well. Brooke, how we doing?
We're doing good this morning.
Doing good this morning. Brooke, I'm going to start with you since it's your first time here on the broadcast. What is it
Okay.
about Adam Zaczkowski and his mission, his vision, the way he recruits? How did you say yes to Moyne and to this program? What was it about the message from Adam?
I think I just felt like the confidence and like the fact that he like truly believed in me to like do everything, and like even if I didn't have confidence for it, or if I wasn't like ready, or if I was nervous for anything, he like I felt that he like believed in me and had like hope to be like we can do it even though like you might not think we can.
So his hope and his faith in you has helped. The hope that you and faith that you have in yourself since coming to Moyne. Do you feel like that has grown and that has blossomed, and that what he has seen in you, you see in yourself as well?
I feel like, yeah, it definitely, especially with just like the whole college experience, I feel like it starts off a little slow and a little rough, but then as you get older, since I'm a junior, I feel like you learn a little bit and you like experience and grow more as a person and as a student athlete. So you get to feel like more confident within yourself and your athletics.
Oh, I love it. Coach, what did you see in Brooke that made you want her to be a part of this program?
When we started talking with Brooke, her sister was a member of the team. Jordan graduated 3 years ago, 2 years ago at this point. And when you recruit and when you approach siblings, we always try to make the process special for the second, third, fourth sibling because they're different people. They have different needs, different wants, and different desires. And so, looking at Brooke, I mean, yeah, we knew where she was from, we knew her family, but Brooke brought a unique set of talents to the team when we were talking with her, and that had to do with her breaststroke and her pardon me, breaststroke. I don't know why I said that. Her backstroke and her butterfly abilities, and she's kind of blossomed into a little bit of an all-around swimmer. She has the ability to go freestyle, IM. She doesn't like butterfly anymore, but I think she's pretty darn good at it. But her backstroke has really kind of where she's developed, and with a top 10 finish last year in the conference in the 200 backstroke, we see really great things for her as we progress through this campaign.
And like you said, just wanting to have a unique experience for her, and even though she had a sibling that was already there and already experiencing things, that you wanted her to have something that was all her own. What did you do to try and make it special and make it unique to Brooke's personality and her wants and her needs?
I don't think it was anything purposefully that we did, but we treated Brooke as Brooke and not anyone's sister. And because of that, I think that allowed her to, work within her cohort to become her own person. Not treating her any differently, and I don't think we treat any athlete differently. I
Yeah.
think it's giving her that runway, the ability for her to grow as a person, as an athlete, to develop those talents and that confidence that comes with the talent development. And we're starting to see that come into full circle now.
Brooke, what would you say? How was it made special and kind of just personal to you? How did you feel the love of not being someone's sister, but being specifically and specially you?
I feel like I agree with what Adam said because like for a while I've been just known as like Jordan's little sister, and I knew a lot of people on the team already, so I was like already seen as like a little sister figure. So I guess it's just the fact that like I was allowed to like experience it on my own and like do things on my own because we're also similar majors, so it's like I'm kind of just following in her footsteps. But I feel like I finally had like an opportunity to branch out and just like be my own person instead of being under her little wing my whole life.
Yeah.
So, how have you branched out, Brooke? How are you just uniquely you at Lemoyne and uniquely you on this team? How do you feel you've kind of paved your own way?
I feel like I've become a lot more independent and trying to be like a lot more social throughout the team and just college in general. And I feel like I bring like a lot of like optimism in my personality and try to just like lift other people up and be like a team together.
So, I've been around members of this team. I've been, obviously been in the meet scenario and how loud that is and how crazy it gets and whatnot. Who would you consider on your team to be like the first person that's going to lose their voice at a meet?
I mean, we definitely all try to cheer a lot. I think that's the most fun part about a swim meet is because it's like really loud and you get to cheer for everybody. But the first person that would come to my mind would be Gina. I feel like she's one of our captains. And I feel like she's always just like screaming as loud as she can and trying to like support everybody and making sure they all feel included.
And the meet, I mean, obviously has so many different events. It has so many different pieces and parts to it. How do you keep yourself kind of mentally prepared for it, keep your body right when you're waiting for your moments, your events within the meet? What do you do to keep yourself focused, clear, and ready to go?
So I find it a little difficult, but you kind of always have to like compartmentalize and like focus on like one thing at a time and not try to like think about the whole me as a whole. So I like to try to like take it one step at a time. So if I know I have an event, I'll like try to really focus on that event. And then once that's over, then I can move on to thinking about the next one because I find that it takes a lot of focus to do one event and do it well. And so I find that like if you compartmentalize and like take it step by step, it can be a little less overwhelming than looking at the whole meet as a whole.
Do you feel like you've been able to kind of just take those pieces and say, okay, I have this right now. Whatever happened with it, let it go on to the next. Do you feel like as a junior you've been able to do that?
It's definitely hard, and I don't think it'll ever be perfect. Like, I don't think I'll ever be perfect at it, but I do think I've made a lot of progress since freshman year with the whole idea of compartmentalizing and trying not to feel like every event is like the and trying not to feel like every event is like the most important event or that like that event is like what the entire meet is worth.
Coach Zaczkowski has told me over the years that he knows if he does practice early that it's not going to bug the classes because there's no classes at those times. Is he still doing that 5, 6 a.m. around time? And have you gotten used to being in the pool that early?
Yeah, so we have practice at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
and I find that it does fit with your class schedules. Sometimes I have like an 8:30 class, which makes it a little close on time, but you can always fit in time and always make it to your class. During high school, I would have 5 to 7 a.m. practices, so I'm pretty used to the morning times. And even when we don't have a morning practice or we have a day off, I still find myself waking up at 5:30 just naturally. So I find that your body does get used to it and it's not as bad as it seems.
Adam, has 6 a.m. become like 3 in the afternoon to you at this point?
Well, it's 9:15 now. It's lunchtime at this point, it feels like. You know, uh, when we shift, we just shift the calendar, shift the time, right? And so yeah, our days start a little bit earlier, but what that allows for our student athletes is for their academic days to, when they're done with their academic days, they're done with their day. And so it allows them that freedom and flexibility after 4 o'clock to have the college lifestyle, have the ability to study, have the ability to be with friends, and try to kind of blend the best of both worlds of both being an athlete and a student at the same time.
And Adam, I know you and I are going to talk more this morning, and I want to make sure because Brooke's got to hop in a second here, so I'll go back to Brooke for this. Brooke, bring me into Guilderland, New York, just for someone who doesn't know just where that is, what it's like being there. Describe home. I like home, like hearing about home through the look of it, the food of it. So what's it like out there for a card-carrying Italian?
Okay, so Gilderland is like a little town inside of Albany, and I think it's just like so like it's not like the quaintest little town, but I think it's just like so homey and cute, and like it's just like it's like woodsy, and it just like feels like I'm going home this weekend, and I'm so excited because it's just like it feels like home, and it feels like just like safe and like quiet, and like up here in Syracuse, like the highways up here are crazy, and just at home it's just like it's not the same. It's just like a little quainter, a little quieter. And I don't know, it just feels like nicer at home.
Well, I can tell you the highways didn't used to be crazy until a bunch of politicians decided to rip them apart. But hopefully they'll be better at some point soon, Brooke. Before I let you
Yeah.
go, just to describe, I mean, I've talked to other people on the team over the years, and they talk about like playing games together and making things interesting when you're in the hotels and when everyone's together, just doing really cool things to kind of bring everyone into that team atmosphere for the men's and women's swimming and diving squads. How would you describe the environment of when all of these teams come together and you're on the road together? Do you feel like it becomes a family? Are there still fun games that you play? How does this kind of, because sometimes I feel like swimming can feel individualistic, right? Because you're in by yourself, you're focused on what you're doing, you're in your lane doing your thing. But I know that this is a team that has had some really caring souls and interesting people. So I'd love to hear how you kind of take that.
Yeah, so even though swimming may seem like an individual sport, I feel like it's like very team based because I've, especially like if you're doing a practice by yourself, like it's very difficult to get through it by yourself. And we often like lean on the other people in our teams to help us and like get us through practices and meets. But even though at the end of the day, it's just you and the pool and the clock when you're racing, I feel like it's like everybody else that lifts you up and makes it actually feel like a family. Like we bond outside of practice and we do like those team bonding events. Like we have pasta dinners, game nights. It's just like it's another level of bonding that like you don't see in like most sports if you weren't going to bond outside of it. And I think that the individual aspect really grows to like a whole like team and family environment because we all have to lift each other up and help each other through hard times.
Final note for you, Brooke. Who has been the greatest influence and maybe mentor to you from these teams?
Ooh, that's a hard question. Hmm. I don't think any one person would have the greatest influence on me because I feel like throughout my years, I feel like there's been different strengths that I can pick out of people and that can like really affect me personally that have helped me grow and through that one little period of time, like really like boosted me up and helped me through it. So I
Okay.
feel like it's just like a whole sum of people and I don't think I could pick one.
Well, I can appreciate that and respect that, and I think in a lot of cases that is very true. That it's right a village. So for Brooke Sommo
Mhm.
here with us, I know you got to get hopping, but I appreciate you coming on for a few minutes with us this morning, and obviously with this season in full swing and plenty to come for meet wise in 2024-25. I hope for you the absolute best, and I look forward to seeing you out at the pool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Zaczkowski. So, what is it about this year's team, 2024-25, that when you put this all together, and I know when you're recruiting, you're willing to go anywhere and everywhere. You're willing to go out of the country, all over the country, in the backyard. So, in the
Mhm.
makeup of 2024-25, how would you describe the squad that is stepping forward into the pool for men's and women's swimming and diving?
What we as a reclassifying school have, an interesting roster turnover that the other folks in our conference just aren't having right now. Um, our group of seniors that graduated in May, um, you know, they came in as Division II swimmers. They left as Division I swimmers, but our the crop of athletes that we brought in now, are have always been primed and ready to go as a Division I athlete. And what that means is that instead of replacing our seniors, we actually, from an athletic standpoint, we replaced our seniors with freshmen that are actually faster. And so from an athletic standpoint, we're faster this year than last year already because of the fact that we brought in athletes that are quicker. Now we have 4 years of work to get those freshmen to the level of maturity and sophistication that those seniors brought, that leadership. So, leadership wise, we're developing our next crop of folks, but athletically, we're swapping out a Division II class with a full Division I class. And then we saw the results of that at our first competition at Binghamton last Saturday.
Yeah, when you look at that first competition of the season down in Binghamton, about an hour away, what were your takeaways from that?
Uh, you know, we knew going in that we'd have our hands full with the America East champions, the defending champions on the men's side. And so we knew that it was a little bit of an uphill battle. And because of that, our pre-meet discussion was, look to your left, look to your right. Your goal is to try to beat someone with a different cap on.
Yeah.
And if we have enough people beat enough people with different caps, we'll win the event. If we have enough event wins, we'll win the meet. You know, that's the mindset we had. And so while we came up short score wise, time wise, we are, we're 30 to 60 days ahead with most of our athletes. One of our senior women last year was, at this time last year, she was, 27 high in the 50 free. She was 26 low. So, she's almost 5% faster, 30 days, 45 days ahead of time. And that's just one example. So we are swimming really well right now, but the score line doesn't indicate the level of how much just better we are relative to last year.
And you talked about the transition, the reclassifying from NCAA Division II to Division I. It started last season, and it started quickly when it came to fall sports to be put in a situation where the decision's made in May of 2024, and then teams are in action, your team included, in that September area. So from last year to this year, now having more time and maybe to not have sea legs, so to speak, right? Get the legs in order. What can you say about last season in the kind of high octane run to, okay, this is what we have to do right now in this moment? And we're one of those first sports that it's going to essentially dive right into this deeper end, to now having a second year where there's a full period of time where you can prepare. I mean, I know how you, and I'm asking this question away because I know how you recruit. I know you're methodical. I know that you accept challenges. I know you plan way in advance. So I know that I'm talking to someone that's a preparation person and someone who is like looking for plan A, B, C, all the way to Z. But what has the extra time done for you?
Retrospectively speaking, looking at the 23-24 season, we'll have to use a swimming term, but we were treading water last year. We were doing everything we could to stay above the water. It was a little bit of a trial by fire, and adapting the way that we did things to a different schedule, a different set of opponents, different set of expectations. Candidly, the expectations are a little bit more athlete and team driven. I think that our administrative people here have done a really good job of keeping things in perspective and understanding that this is a process, and that yes, everyone wants to win now, but the reality is that we have to build infrastructure to win later. So we were, doing what we could to try to just, shore up our flanks last year. And now that we have that year under our belt, I want to say things are moving a little bit slower. We're not by any snail, or we're not snail pace by any stretch, but now we've done this a year. We know what to expect. We know what the competition looks like. We know what it looks and smells like and feels like. And because of that, it allows us to prepare differently in a manner that we can slow down and not have to feel rushed. And we know what to expect. And so the prep for us, at least in our first meet, has been much better. I think our focus is different. Our clarity is different. It's all right, let's go get them. Let's go out there and work as a team and function as a team. And those individual performance cumulatively will make team success.
Yeah, and like you said, looking at just the time and the slower, as they speed up individually in the pool, the time kind of outside of it to slow it down and say, okay, let's not put ourselves on a bullet train. Let's control what we can control. We couldn't
Mhm.
control the move to Division One, but you can control how you recruit. You can control who you recruit. They can
Right.
control their work ethic. They can control their time spent. They can control, how they are going to attack the day when it comes to preparing their body and preparing their mind. So, all in all, when it comes together, has anything about your message changed, adjusted, evolved, or is it pretty consistent?
Well, you asked Brooke a question earlier about how she prepares for races.
Yeah.
And our message hasn't changed, but I think it resonates differently. And we talk about process. So we try not to focus on the time on the board. We talk about the red numbers because typically in swimming, scoreboards are red. They just are. But we talk about not focusing on the red numbers. We talk about the process. Have you put the time and the effort in the pool, in the classroom to allow you having physical and mental preparation for the swim meet? Every one of our races, we talk about having three different parts to that race, right? There's the warm up or the preparation prior to the race. Are you ready to go? Then when you do your race, you have to be ready to perform. And then following your race, you have to warm down, have the kind of closing procedures of that race. And then we talk about the next race. I mean, in some regards, it's a little bit like a closer in baseball, or a pitcher in baseball. They have their warm up, they go in, they do their session, they're in the game thing, and then they have their post, their post bullpen stretch out. It's the same idea that we talk about in swimming. And so our approach has remained similar. I think that like we said, the speed at which we go is different. But, Dan, at the end of the day, Division Two and Division One, we're still talking about swimming, and swimming is swimming. And we just have to, accept that, or not accept, we have to embrace where we are, and we will be successful.
Here with Adam Zaczkowski and Brooke Sommo beforehand for Moyne men's and women's swimming and diving here in the 2024-25 season inside of the Dolphin Dive, and of course in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Moyne College. I was thinking about this literally just now in the moment in real time, is that I call this the Dolphin Dive, and they are the dolphins, and dolphins swim, and they're always in water. What is it like for you that of all of the programs at Moyne, yours is the one that so easily exemplifies a dolphin?
Sometimes it's better be lucky than good, right? Yeah, we're the swimming dolphins of the institution. We're the ones that truly have that dolphin feel. every day I'm excited to come to work. Every day I am inspired by the people that I work with to push harder and to push faster and to be better. And I'm grateful for the position that I'm in that I get to be here and work with these athletes and welcome recruits in and be with my colleagues who are here for making our institution better, who are here for making our athletes the best that they can be, and advancing kind of our mission as a department and as a school. And so we take that seriously here, and I take it. It doesn't. I recognize that, and I'm happy that I get to be here.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm not just saying this because I've gotten to know you on and off the air, but to me, I consider you to be a big part of this Dolphin message. And you've done a lot of different things. You haven't simply been a coach. You have, worked very closely when Bob Beretta was there as athletics director. You have been a part of a lot of things. And I think that, in that respect, in my opinion, you're one of the unsung heroes that I want to kind of sing about a little bit because you've done so many things in the background, because you have tried to educate yourself, prepare yourself, and make yourself such a multifaceted part of the school that it isn't just simply being a coach. And then when you are a coach, you have all of those complexities to it. So I think you do more than enough overseeing essentially 4 teams because you have men's swimming, men's diving, women's swimming, women's diving. But on top of all of that, you've done a lot of other pieces in the background that I kind of just want to shout out, because the way that you've welcomed me and treated me has been unique unto you. And like I said last night when I was having a conversation, I find that if God is going to give you today, and that's all you have, that you tell the people that you appreciate them. And I just want to see that. I just want you to know that I see what you've been doing, and I see the work you've been doing, and the way that you have treated me in the 3+ years that this partnership has been here has really stood out to me. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcoming people to Moyne is one of the. Every now and then I pinch myself, and I can't believe that I get paid to do this sometimes. The hours are long. The sacrifice is there, but one of the best things that I get to do as a coach here is recruit people, and I get to welcome them to Moyne, and I get to show them and tell them the stories of what it was like when I was a student here, and things that we can do here at Moyne that I call little things or great things can happen here at Little Moyne. And when I tell the story of Allison Lesher, the 2008 women's 200 butterfly Division II national champion, and that she came from a place near Brooke, out in northeastern New York, and she was able to be a national champion from Moyne. And we have a history of sending people to nationals and all Americans, and great things can happen here regardless of the size of the institution, as long as the people that can support the student and the athlete are in line. And I think welcoming you and your message and what you bring to us as an institution is no different. I think our purpose here is to bring in the best and the brightest, regardless of age or industry, so that we can exemplify what we do here. And so the partnership that we have with you and your company to spread our message, I think it works both ways. We spread what you do out to others as well, and then if enough people talk about Moyne, and enough people understand our message, we can do great things. We can bring in great people.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll, obviously I take that with me. I find it very, and I appreciate you. The interesting thing about life and and I think you know this too, is when you're working so hard and you're trying to accomplish something and you accomplish that and you look up to God and you say thank you, I go on to the next thing, not in like a disrespect of the accomplishment, but I'm like, okay, like I want to do as much as I can before I put my head on the pillow today. When I was down in Boca Raton, Florida for the Syracuse Bowl game against South Florida, I'm walking around now. I cover FAU. I started covering FAU in during COVID. I started covering them, and the announcement was made that they were coming to the American Athletic on October 21st, my birthday, 2021. So 2121,
Yeah.
and so I have covered the football team and I've covered FAU and interviewed their student athletes and coaches, but I had not been on campus yet. And so the game was at FAU for Boca Raton for the Boca Bowl, and I am walking around the outside. I'm trying to find the Syracuse alumni tailgate because I got invited to it, and they said, "Hey, you're part of the family. We want you to be here with us," because I've gotten to know the football guys of all different generations over time. And so I'm looking for this place, and I'm walking around, and I'm in front of the stadium, and as I'm walking, I put my head down, and I hear Dan Tortora. There he is. And I looked up and I saw a guy with his wife and his kids, and I didn't know any of these people. And he said, "You did that show with Moyne swimming and diving, and you talked about that kid, and coach and you were talking about this kid and recruiting his roommate and this and that, whatever." He's like, "My son right here," and his son standing there. He goes, "This is the roommate he was talking about in the show." And he's like, "I just wanted to let you know that we love what you do. And when I saw that the game was going to be down here, we were hoping that you would be here so that I could tell you to your face that I appreciate your work and everything you do for Moyne." And it's moments like that, Adam, that are, to me, divinely put there. And
Mhm.
it's moments like that that make you take a step back and say, like, I know what I'm giving. I know what I'm doing. I know how much I care. Do they know? Do they see it? And having that happen to me, like, that stopped me in my tracks. So, you can make a difference. And I know that you know that. But I just wanted to share that story with you because it's a swimming and diving story. And I don't think that the Olympic sports in general in this country get the love like other sports like football and basketball and whatnot. And I have, with this partnership, worked to create an even playing field with everyone. And the fact that not only did somebody come up to me that was a total stranger, but they were like, "That swimming and diving special you did." And I was like, you know what? That's a badge of honor to me to give to Adam because I'm happy that people care about your program and care about what you're doing.
You're part of the swimming and diving community now, whether you like it or not. And because of that, people are going to know. You'll go around the country and you'll talk to people and you're like, "Oh, my so and so used to swim," or "I know this guy who's a coach," and it's that 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? Everyone, you know what I mean? Remember that?
Yeah.
Once you get involved in swimming, you kind of know somebody who swam somewhere, and you can put the pieces together and connect the dots. That's a really fascinating story. I number of years ago, I was down in New York City, and I was walking in Times Square. And if you walked in Times Square, you know how it's like shoulder to shoulder, everybody's there.
Yeah.
And I look up, and across the street, I see this guy named Dennis McCardle. Dennis McCardle was a senior when I was a freshman, so he was a class of 2000 from Moyne. And in the sea of all these humans, in the middle of Manhattan, I look up. Across the street is Dennis McCardle, clear as day. And I mean, big hug. It was like we didn't miss a beat. He's a firefighter. And you just have these connections through swimming and connections through Moyne that just happen wherever you go. And it's hard to explain it. It's hard to explain that community, that fabric that we weave, but it all starts at this pool. And the time that we go together. Brooke talked about the fact that there's not one person that helps drive her; it's everybody.
Yeah.
I was listening and you listen to the chatter for swim practice, and the chatter is all of like 5 seconds in between when you go again, but you can hear them breathing hard and saying, "Guys, let's go. We can do it. Follow me. I got you. I'll help you." It's this brotherhood and sisterhood that we have here that makes it unique. It makes it something special. And is it Moyne that's special with that? Yes. Is it something special with college athletics? Yeah, I think so. I think it crosses schools and campuses and sports, and this camaraderie that we have no matter where you go. It's this badge of honor that we all wear, that we want to promote our school and our sport, but at the end of the day, it's making all of us the best people that we can be.
Great way to put it. Adam Zaczkowski. Adam, before I let you go, a couple things. We're going to play rapid fire, but before we get into that, that's right. So before we do that, I do want to look at the season just began. So you're down in Vestal up against Binghamton University, and then coming up on October 11th and 12th, not too far away as we're here on October 2nd, we have the Colgate Invite that's going to be out at Colgate in Hamilton, New York, not too far away. And then on October 19th, 2 days before my birthday, you'll be going up against St. Bonaventure, and that'll be at home. Then you head to Colgate again, and then to Roberts Wesleyan. The Magnus Cup at Cleveland State University in Cleveland, Ohio is going to be in November before Thanksgiving. And then at Canisius before you come home to round out the season against LIU, Niagara, and Cornell. So just bring me into the setup of the schedule and the fact that you got St. Bonnie's at Moyne, and then we get to finish up on January 13th, 25th, and on February 1st right here in Syracuse, New York, and have that opportunity to get to see y'all at home for two of them, and then close to home at Nottingham High School for the Cornell matchup.
Yeah, so we're really excited for our 24-25 campaign. We went obviously with easy. We try to make it as cupcake as possible. No, no, we went right at it. Coming up next week, Colgate, Patriot League, UMass is going to be there. St. Francis, part of the NEC, will be there. Niagara will be there. So we have representation from multiple conferences all kind of coming together at Colgate, and it'll give us a real test and a litmus test of where we are relative to these other schools. And then, yeah, we're psyched to have St. Bonaventure here. Our first home contest against a Division I opponent, as Moyne being Division I. A number of years ago, we had Binghamton come up here when they were in their reclassification process. But this will be the first Division I home meet here at Moyne. And then back to Colgate to have an individual swim meet with them on the 25th of October. We're excited for that matchup relative to kind of the guys and girls that we brought in. We think that we match up well against them, and we're excited to see where that meet's going to be. I think that's going to come down to probably 10 points. Hopefully we can be on the right side of that 10 points. We'll then in early November we'll begin swimming against Roberts Wesleyan. Probably one of our last times that we swim against a Division II foe in a dual meet. But the coach there, Sarah Smith, has been a dear friend of mine for a number of years, and she and I both support each other's coaching careers, and so I'm happy to go down there and give her a meet, and we'll see what we can do there. Last time we were at Roberts Wesleyan, we set 13 pool records, so I don't want to set that bar too high, but we'll go ahead and we'll try to take down a couple of them again. And then that mid-season meet, Dan, is going to be a very, very interesting affair. We're headed out to Cleveland, Ohio, the weekend before Thanksgiving, and we're going to be swimming against schools from the Missouri Valley Conference, the American, the MAC, the MAC, the MAAC. And so we're going to be going against men and women who have, NCAA, were at NCAA Nationals last year. And so what does that look like to be in that pool? What does that look like, and how do we handle that set of challenges? So we're excited for that. Once we get back from winter training, you talked about that gauntlet where we're going to be out at Canisius early in January. Then we end with 3 home meets against Niagara, Cornell, and of course I missed that third one. But
LIU,
we
the
are
Sharks. The Sharks of
that's
LIU.
right. Yeah. And so we're really amped actually for that February 2nd meet against Cornell. It's going to be at Nottingham High School. Nottingham High School is an 8-lane, 50-meter facility. And, I was able to have Cornell come up here because it's a championship level facility. And, we're trying to pack that building. There's 1,000 seats in that building. And so we want to try to, fill the rafters there, get that thing as loud as possible. They were really successful in the Ivies last year. And so, that's going to be the last meet that we have before we get to NECs, our conference meet. And so that's going to be an important last test to get us ready for conference championship. So our schedule is purposefully difficult, and we're up to the challenge. And I can't wait to be along for the ride with these men and women here at Lemoyne.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited, and I appreciate the background of that and the substance of it to get people even more excited for what's coming up this season for Lemoyne men's and women's swimming and diving on the road and at home and down the road at Nottingham High School here with this edition of the Dolphin Dive with Adam Zaczkowski and just a little bit before with Brooke Sommo. So it's time to play rapid fire. You get to ask me the first question, sir.
What is going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars?
What Trevor said in week 2, they suck. So, but no, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, listen, when I've said this before, and this season I've said it last week. Jacksonville is a delicate. I think anything is a delicate place, as you know. A team is very delicate, and people underestimate the locker room. And people underestimate if you have something that doesn't fit at any part. Could be the janitor. It could be the communications person. It could be, one of the management team people. It could be an equipment manager. But what you bring into your house, if it doesn't fit, there's ick. And unfortunately, firsthand, I've seen some of that ick from last season. And it just didn't feel Jaguars-ish. It felt very distant, blocking, negative, judgmental. And I don't know why Jacksonville went in that direction when they've gone so many years in being a welcoming, appreciative, we'll give you a chance, you do what you're supposed to do, then we build you up. And I've highly touted their organization over the years for the people within it. But you and I both know that an organization is the sum of its parts, and when one of those parts is not functioning or functioning in a way that is counterintuitive, then it affects other pieces. And I think, and I'm not saying that these pieces that I'm talking about are affecting the field, but it's affecting the building. And, I think Shad Khan, he's been a smart man. He's also been very open about things that go on and whatnot. And so I see it from a unique angle because I've seen the background. And they have had some like Hall of Fame caliber people in that building that some people might never know because of the job that they had, but they stuck out to me. And I can't help but look at Jacksonville right now and say they were this like dysfunctional family, and then they became more functional, and then they had some family leave, but they stayed functional. and then they brought in dysfunctional pieces in a family that was functioning.
Mhm.
So I I feel terrible for the players. I feel terrible for the situation. And I mean, Doug Peterson, do I think he's a bad coach? No. Do I think Trevor's a bad quarterback? No. This has just been a team that, unfortunately, be it within the locker room or within a part of their organization, I have seen them have the ick. I've seen them have that like element where it's like, whatever you hired this person for, great, but there's this other stuff. And I saw it in Jalen Ramsey years before anything was done. And I saw it in Yannick Ngakwe. I saw it in Marcel Darius. I saw it in Telvin Smith. And they talented guys, some of those guys like all pro guys, but there was something that wasn't good. And then there's guys like Chad Muma, and there's guys like a guy that I mean, there's certain guys I'm really sad that they got rid of from last year's team, and like Rayshawn Jenkins and whatnot. I mean, he was just a different element. But there's certain guys in that locker room that just change what that locker room is and what it can be. But I think that there's other things going on within the organization. And I think that they had an identity. And I think people came in to maybe change the identity. But change is not always good. It's got to be a positive change, not a negative change. And so I think that this team is suffering from a lot of things. And I think that they're in need of a leader, and I'm waiting to see who's going to step up.
It's interesting you say that because when we talk with recruits, we talk about the way to find a school, the way to find a team is the three F's: fit, feel, and flexibility, right?
Yeah.
When you're part of the team, do you fit in
Yeah.
perception wise? Does the school feel like a second home to you? And then does the institution and the team provide the flexibility that you need as a student athlete to excel, right? And it sounds to me what you just described was that the fit, feel, and flexibility of the current makeup is clearly not sync, right? How do you
Yeah.
fix that? I'm not a football guy, but it's interesting that cultural problems all kind of stem from the three F's, and it's an interesting tie, regardless if it's professional athletics or collegiate athletics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that where they're at right now is not who they are. And I mean I've been around them for over a decade, so I could speak to saying the way that I feel coming in the building was that I didn't fit. That a place that felt like home now feels like this detached, distant
Mhm.
kind of like kiss our feet that you're here type of thing. And that was not the environment before. So I think you don't even have to go the three F's. You just start with fit, and you take people that absolutely have loved the place and backed the place and supported the place and defended the place, and you give those people kind of slap in the head of like, you think it's going to be like this. And that to me is, I mean, it's heartbreaking because I mean I've been a Jacksonville fan since they started in '95. I've covered the team for over a decade, and to witness just a simple like, this person's here, now this person's here, that one change was like, let's take the people that have defended us and try to exonerate us and help us and be there for us, and let's just throw everybody in a pot, and we're going to treat them how we're going to treat them. And life is about relationships, and life is about how you treat people. And what do they say? It could take forever to build trust, but a second to lose it. So it's the road behind the scenes of Jacksonville. I love the players, and I have built relationships with them, and I care about them. And some of the guys I've known since they were in college, but the organization itself makes me look back on all the words that I've said over the years and say, what happened? So I hope it changes because they used to stick out for the right reasons. And now that first F, that fit, I don't think I'm the only one that feels the way that I feel. So my question back to you, Adam,
Okay.
is you're a Buffalo Bill? Are you a Bill?
I watch professional football. Sunday's typically the day that I spend with my family, so it's a lot of family days, but I follow along. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Okay, so let's go with Buffalo. So
Okay.
Buffalo for the last 3 years has been the team that people are like, they're going to the Super Bowl. There's all this hype. This year, it's quiet. This year, some people picked Miami if Tua was healthy. So Buffalo is in this space right now where there's not this like Super Bowl or bust, which makes me believe that that's one of the things that needed to happen was just like back off of Buffalo, and I think they'll do better if people back off. So how do you assess them and your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills? And do you agree that there is, even though there are three teams that are named after New York, that there's literally only one New York team due to the fact that the two other ones are in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
Kind of being in the Buffalo Bills market here in Syracuse. My 7-year-old is hook, line, sinker, red, white, blue Buffalo Bills. Lives and dies by it. He said, he talks to me every day about, hey, Dad, what's Josh Allen? He said to me the other day, he said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. I said, no, what's that? He goes, did you know Josh Allen can jump over a car? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And so so who knows if that's true or false, right? But the fact is that I think that this fan base of the Buffalo Bills has been hungry for a long time, and it's been so close, and yet getting over that mountaintop is so terribly difficult, right? I'm a Mets fan, right? 1986 is a long time ago, 38 years for those you counting at home, right? So I think when you're talking about fan base and expectations and this understanding of winning and hoping to win, there's a lot of factors that go into that. There's a lot of luck that happens in these games. And yeah, I think there was a lot of fan base pressure over the last couple of years of this Super Bowl or bust. And, not to bring up the Jim Kelly area, but maybe it's not Super Bowl or bust. Maybe it's Super Bowl win or bust.
Yeah.
But I think that once folks have a expectation of let's be excellent and let's not, the score is going to take care of itself, and let's focus on, the X's and the O's and everybody doing their job. And once you get that level of commitment into the players and the organization, in the swimmers and the culture that we do here, I think that the winning is not the focus anymore. It's the execution. And the tone has certainly changed. Maybe it's the national media that's not on the Buffalo Bills anymore. I don't know exactly how that works, but I think that maybe from a team perspective outward, it's, hey, we're working on these individual things so that we can be the best we can be. And while, yeah, we'd love to go and win a Super Bowl or an AFC championship, let's just be the best we can be week in and week out. And maybe that's permeating out to the point that expectations now are excellence on a weekend. And let's see what happens once we get into the playoffs. And sky's the limit once you kind of get that must win, that must win mentality out of it. And it's must win every play or win every play, and you can be better as a team. So that's where I think hopefully that's where the headspace is that they're at right now.
Yeah. Win the play, win the day. Not focusing on, that end line, but just do what you can each day to be consistently good, not occasionally great. What's your final question for me?
Final question for you, right? We have the playoffs, base MLB playoffs kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see kind of happening within the wild cards? Who do you think is going to be the eventual NL and the AL champions, and who do you think is going to be, hoisting the trophy at the end of the World Series?
Well, I released my bracket, so I did release my bracket right there. So I'll
Okay.
hold it up here, and while I describe it, I have chosen the Houston Astros in the wild card to defeat the Detroit Tigers, although I'm really excited for Detroit and how well they've had their season. I chose Baltimore over Kansas City, even though I know Baltimore struggles in the postseason, but I can't really choose Baltimore that far because they struggle in the postseason. So I went Astros against the Guardians. The Astros, because everyone knows whether you're an Astros fan or not, when you don't want them to win, they win. So I think a lot of the country still remembers that banging on the drums, but the Houston Astros, when they get into the postseason, they are a dangerous, dangerous team, and I respect that in them. So I'm going to put them to the final two here, and I got the Yankees defeating the Baltimore Orioles when they have another shot at them. They've been a thorn in each other's side all season. I think the Yankees will best them. And then I did pick the Mets to take down the Milwaukee Brewers. My Diamondbacks did that last year. I think Milwaukee's vulnerable, but the Mets have to change the tide because the Mets just lost 2 of 3 at home in a late season series against the Brewers right before the postseason started. And then San Diego's red hot, so I got them over the Braves, even though I think the Braves are a good team. And then I have 2 divisional matchups in the National League. I have the NL East Mets and Phillies, and I got the Phillies winning that one. And then I have the NL West between the Dodgers and the Padres. And I just think the Padres and the Phillies are going to play for that final spot in the National League to get to the World Series. I think it genuinely can go either way. I can see Yankees Phillies, but I chose the heat of the San Diego Padres and those bats, and I got New York and San Diego, and it came out to NYSD, which is almost like NYPD, so I thought that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I'm picking the Yankees to get closer to 30 World Series championships. I think this would be 28. So, yeah, but I'm going with the Yankees.
Okay.
Any
Not the
thoughts on
Diamondbacks. It's
mine? Do
okay.
you
Did not go with the heart this time. Okay, got it.
So if I was going with the heart of the heart, well, if I was going with my heart, the Diamondbacks would have gotten in and we would have went all day there. But I mean, what I really want is a Subway Series. I just don't see it happening. So I think the Mets got a big old gamut to run. Not that they can't, but the Yankees. I feel good, and I feel like when the Yankees do well, the state of New York does well. I think upstate New York, there's a lot of fans here. I think Italians do better. So like I think the Yankees, they have like this like kind of effect that goes out to a bunch of other places. So, you know, something about when the Yankees win, even if you're not a Yankee fan, it seems like maybe something's right with the world in certain instances. So I'm gonna go with the stripes, the pinstripes
Okay.
to win it. My final question for you: if you and I were in a buddy movie and we could have any career, what is the career that you and I would have in this like comedy movie? Our career, the city that we're in, and our career, the city that we're in, and like what would be like the thing of the movie? Like this is our career, and then like what is this like climax thing, and what city are we in?
Okay. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So here's the premise of the movie, okay?
Yes.
You are a die-hard salesman. Like you can't get enough of sales. And I am a used car dealer. And so I hire you to just turn around. You become like the king of cars, and you got to just go ahead and liquidate as many of these used cars as it takes, right? And so
Okay.
obviously, because it's a comedy, right? And it's probably going to be a dark comedy. So it's like the king of cars sells lemons because you're gonna have to just liquidate these things, get them out, right? And so what's the twist? The twist is of course somehow you're gonna meet this Scarlett Johansson kind of figure, and she's going to turn you into this quality person, and you can't sell these cars anymore because they're just not good, and you go over and have to sell new cars.
I find that to be very interesting to conversations that I've had recently. I also find that to be very funny. I appreciate that. And I genuinely couldn't sell lemons. I can't lie. Like I cannot. Even if I sold the car, I'd be chasing the person down to like with their keys and about to put it in the car and go, "Hey, don't take it off the lot." Like I just don't feel right doing it. So, yeah, but I like that. I like that premise. And I love comedy. So, I'm all about that life. Adam, as always, it's awesome. Time flies by when we have the opportunity to talk, and I just greatly appreciate, like I said, your personality, and your desire and your love for Lemoyne, the family guy that you are. I know you love your little guys and you love your wife. And I love when she was there at the meet that I was at last season. I think it was in January. And I
Mhm.
saw her, and it was really funny because I was like, let's get some dinner. And you're like, honey, can I go? And it was just like this big kid personality that you have. So as much as you have that tough love and you gotta work to get the best out of people, I also feel like you haven't forgotten one of the greatest things that I think a human being can do, which is to keep their big kid spirit no matter what age they are as an adult. And I think that that's something that can never go underestimated or underappreciated. I feel like you are the guy that's gonna work late and get there early, leave late, but I also think you're the guy who's going to be under the table in a fort with your kids just talking to them about their day. So I give you props for all that stuff, and I appreciate it. Oh, I think we froze. Okay. There we go. All right, what were you
All
saying?
right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I got frozen out. I got evidently too much. The bandwidth evidently just got pulled away. Can't help it with the viewers. It's all right. It's
Uh,
good.
did you at least hear what I said about? Did you hear what I had said? No.
No,
Oh,
we're
okay.
technical difficulties on this end.
Oh, okay. So no, what I was saying was, I said the thing that I really appreciate that you do so well, in my opinion, is you have this ability to. I mean, like you're the type of person that knows you got to give tough love sometimes, and you have to have serious conversations. But I also think you kept your big kid spirit. I think you still have it. And I said you're the type of person that I would imagine getting there early, staying late, but then going home and building a fort with your kids and getting underneath the kitchen table and talking to them about their day and, wearing like crazy socks they picked out for you and hanging out. So I just appreciate the overall person that you are. And I think one of the greatest values that you bring to Lemoyne and to our community and to the people that know you is the fact that you still have a big kid spirit and you still get really excited about things like a kid. And I think that that's one of the greatest assets that an adult can have.
Well, thank you. To end it, I
Yes.
do want to showcase a
Nice.
Father's Day 2021 original Zaczkowski on wood board and paper mache. There you go. That's what I have him hanging in my office is children artwork that are original one of a kinds. So that's what drives me every day is my boys and Aaron, my wife, and making a difference to people. So Dan, I appreciate your time as always. We look forward to talking to you every time we can get on here, and I look forward to the next time we get to spend some time together.
Amen for that. And that's an awesome. And I'm not just saying this because of the boys, but that's an awesome paint. You might have some artists there on your hands in the future, there, literally and
There you go.
figuratively. So, but I appreciate it. Appreciate everything. Say hi to Aaron and the family and to the boys, and I look forward to talking with you very soon.
I will. Dan, have a wonderful day. Thanks for having us on, and we will talk with you and the Wake Up Call Nation sometime soon.
Sounds good, sir. Take care. See you. And I want to thank Brooke, Sommo as well for being a part of the show this morning. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break and get ready for fantasy football. We talked a little bit about baseball, so we'll get ready for fantasy football right after this. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there was something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 07, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really changed the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean-to-cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. And in a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection. Even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees, there's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I can tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Zaczkowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. A lot of great stuff coming up in hour number 2 when we jump into the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. So a lot of great stuff coming up, and very much looking forward to sharing that with you. So thank you for all that you do to be a part of the show. We're going to end this video and end this audio feed and then start a new one so that we could jump right into fantasy football. But before we do that, I promised you some baseball talk. Thank you, Jerry, for all the kind words, as always, my good sir. Red October, he said, Phillies, and taking a look at how things shook out in day one on my buddy Ross's birthday. Shout out to Ross one more time, and all the time. Great guy, awesome person, fantastic friend, and I love him dearly. So I hope he had the best birthday yet. And him being a Yankee fan, he didn't have to have any concern about the wild card on opening day. But how cool is that? On his birthday, October 1st, it was the first day of the postseason, and he played baseball in college. He's a baseball fan. He coaches baseball now. So to have baseball postseason in the majors starting on his birthday, to me, that's just poetic God right there. The Tigers beat the Astros in Game 1 of their 3-game series in the wild card, and so that 3-1 victory puts them in the driver's seat in Houston. Kansas City's in the driver's seat in Baltimore. Something about Baltimore, just once they get to the postseason, they falter. They were the team that would start off the regular season really hot. There was that one season in like the first 10, 15 games, they did really well, and then they disappeared and were at like the bottom of the division of the AL East that season of the 5 teams. And then, so that used to happen. And then they got good in the regular season. So it was like they got good in the first part of the season and then wouldn't make the playoffs. Now they're good through the season and make the playoffs, but they don't do anything in the playoffs. Last year they were the number 1 team in the American League and got bounced. So right now they're at home, but they got to figure it out, because if they lose today, it's over. So driver's seat for the Kansas City Royals in a very low-scoring game, 1-0 in favor of Kansas City. The Mets took down the Brewers. So the Mets are in the driver's seat out there in Milwaukee, winning 8-4. And the Braves were blanked by the Padres. Padres in the driver's seat. So of all of the wild card matches, 3 out of 4 of those matches were won in Game 1 by the road team. The Padres were the only home team to take Game 1. Mets on the road, Royals on the road, Tigers on the road. We'll see what happens today. And just to let you know what that schedule is going to look like for today, October 2nd, we will have the Tigers at the Astros, and the Tigers could end it today, or the Astros could force a game 3. And so the Tigers at the Astros today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. At 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN, the Royals could end it today, or the Orioles could force a game 3. Then at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, also on ESPN, the Mets could end their series against the Brewers with a victory on the road to move on to the next round in the divisional side of the National League, or the Brewers could force a game 3. Keep in mind, they just had a series against each other very late here in the season, right before they went back and played the Braves. So the Mets went to Milwaukee and dropped 2 of 3. Now they've won 1. If they win today, they move on. If not, we have a game 3. That game's at 7:30 p.m. And at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2, the Braves at the Padres. The Padres can end it today, or the Braves can force a game 3. That's how fast the World Series is. The regular season was supposed to end on Sunday. It ended on Monday, thanks to a doubleheader thanks to 2 out of 3 games between the Mets and the Braves being postponed in Atlanta. So it ended on Monday. Playoffs start on Tuesday, and we could know here on Wednesday who's moving on to the divisional series. That's quick baseball, baby. They do it all season long. So Tigers, Astros, early afternoon. Royals, Orioles, mid-afternoon. Mets at Brewers, Braves at Padres. Tonight, I will be watching all of them, and I hope you will too. And with that being said, we're going to end this video and end this audio feed to start off our fantasy football one. We'll be back momentarily. God bless. No stress. Do your best. And big time thanks to Adam Zaczkowski and Brooke Sommo from the Moyne Dolphins men's and women's swimming and diving teams. And of course, many, many thanks to all of you for supporting the Dolphins. And thanks to Moyne for entrusting me with a partnership that they had never had before, making history with an exclusive multimedia marketing partnership that I built up and created and brought to Moyne over 3 years ago. And we're here in year number 4, going strong. And I want to thank all those amazing coaches, student athletes, administrators, the board, of course, President Dr. Linda Lemura. I want to thank Mike Lindberg, and I want to thank Bob Beretta before that. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us on these channels for fantasy football and NFL talk.